Wonderful. So welcome everyone to this fantastic webinar. I'm very excited to share my knowledge with you. But before we get started, I'm going to ask Jacqui to get a little an introduction to all of this and to get us all started. Jacqui, to you.
Thank you, Monika. Welcome, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be part of this amazing special webinar this evening or morning, whatever you are. For my friends down under, it's good morning. For us in Scotland, where I am, Aberdeen, Scotland, it's good evening. So, as I say, my name is Jacqui, and I would love to introduce you to two special ladies who will be presenting this evening. So first we have the amazing Dr. Monika Gostic, and then we will follow with another amazing lady, Roberta Brill. So without further ado, Monika, I will leave it to you to start the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacqui, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this. And if you asked me a couple of months ago if I was going to do regular webinars and educate people around the globe on these topics, I would think you're joking. But now this is a reality, and I love every single minute of it because that's what I am. I'm a born educator. This is what I love to do, and it just fills me up with joy to bring knowledge forward to people so they can help themselves in the best way they can. So today we're going to talk all about menopause unleashed. So I'm not going to hold anything back, and I hope that those of you who are joining us with your knowledge, with your personal lived experience, are not holding back either, because we need to share this and we need to talk openly about it. So if you are just joining, then I would welcome you to tell us in the comments, where are you from and why did you join this webinar? But while you are typing all of this, we are going to get started. So because we are talking about human health and disease, there must be a legal disclaimer. So please be aware that anything that we say in this webinar, the information and the products that we mention are not intended to cure, treat, diagnose, mitigate, or prevent any disease. Any presented testimonials are personal accounts only. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, please consult a health professional before using any products. If you are taking any medication or have any type of medical issue, do consult with your doctor before using this product and acting on this information. So this has to be there. Please be mindful that this is information and it is up to you to make an informed decision. Thank you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Super excited to tell you a lot about menopause. So what I see around, even though I am not there myself, but I'm surrounded with women who are, and I have a mother, I had a grandmother who have gone through all of this. A big thing around the globe is that we don't understand what is actually happening inside of our bodies. And we just accept what is normal for us in quotation marks, but that doesn't need to be normal for us. And sometimes I speak to people and they say, oh, I don't go to the toilet for days, and that's normal for me. But that doesn't mean that it's okay and we should just accept that state of affairs. The same goes for menopause. It doesn't mean that even though a lot of people experience the same symptoms, you just need to resolve to the life of those symptoms and struggle. You can get informed, you can learn something about this, understand your body on a deeper level, and act upon that. So today, we're going to learn about the key aspects of menopause. We're going to talk about causes, mostly hormones, the stages, and the changes of the hormones that occur. Then I'm going to go into my favorite topic, which is nutrition, of course. And this nutrition is extremely important to help you with this symptom relief. And we're going to look into how nutrition actually makes a difference. Everyone knows they should be eating healthily, but no one actually knows what that means and how this looks like for their body. And then we're going to finish up with some lifestyle medicine for natural management of menopause and I will go into the detail what lifestyle medicine actually means. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Menopause and nutrition. Why am I talking about nutrition when I'm talking about menopause? Well, because anything we put inside of our body is going to affect our body. It's not just about, oh, you need to eat your vitamins and you need to eat your minerals. There are connections inside of our body that are actually causing the other things to happen, or they are affecting other things, such as hormonal balances. So, for example, if we have our good balanced nutrition in the time of perimenopause and menopause, that can help us manage the conditions and also symptoms that are linked with aging, and they can be changed, but they also don't need to be horrific. Of course, nourishing our body is extremely important. When we have our balanced and nutrient dense diet, women and men can support their body through the changes of menopause and beyond. So we do know of examples of women that are sailing through menopause like it's nothing, because their bodies have everything that their bodies need. And also managing symptoms naturally. So we all know that for some people, they need support of HRT, they need support of other external factors in order to manage their symptoms. But to optimize even those interventions, we can support our bodies through nutrition and other lifestyle medicine factors. And these nutrients and dietary changes can help elevate common menopausal symptoms like hot flashes, mood swings, sleep disturbances, and more. I don't know about you, but I definitely don't like my mood swings. So I'm going to go into the first of the hormones that are present in female body and that are also affecting our menopause, and they are changing while we're in menopause. And this is why we're getting different symptoms. And this hormone is progesterone. We know about progesterone because we know that it's involved in our periods. So in our menstrual cycle, this is a normal part of it, and it plays a crucial role in triggering this menstrual cycle, also making sure that our uterine lining gets thicker and prepares the body for potential pregnancy. And when this pregnancy doesn't happen, then we shed it in our period. Luckily, and very good for us, this progesterone hormone has such a nice and calming effect on our body that we really just want to have it. We want to have lots of it, and we want to have it in balance, because that helps us balance our mood, and it makes us less irritable, less anxious, and it also helps us sleep better. So progesterone is pretty good to have around. And what happens when we reach perimenopause is that actually progesterone is one of the first hormones, or is the first hormone that starts declining. So as we reach perimenopause, we start producing less and less progesterone. And because we produce less progesterone, we start getting some imbalances in our hormones, and we start exhibiting symptoms that are later on in menopause get a little bit worse. Okay, this was progesterone. The second hormone that we're all familiar with, and this one gets all the buzz usually, is estrogen. And estrogen, we know it as the female hormone, is the feminine hormone. Don't get me wrong, men have it as well. But in women, it helps us manage our stress, it regulates cholesterol, it supports bone health, and also controls appetite, by the way. So if you're feeling snackish all the time, maybe think about your estrogen balance and estrogen levels. And the problem during the menopause is that estrogen levels drop. So they drop significantly. First, in our perimenopause, which is premenopausal state, we start getting reduced levels of progesterone. And then on top of that, estrogen drops low as well. And this can then look like hot flushes and night sweats. It can look like mood swings and anxiety. It can look like sleep disruptions and also vaginal dryness. I know a lot of women, and we need to talk about it. We actually do. I know a lot of women, they're saying that sex just isn't comfortable or pleasant anymore because there is this vaginal dryness present. And this is the effect of menopause and lowered estrogen. Now, we're not just talking about periods, we're not just talking about the ability to get pregnant. Estrogen has effects beyond that. It actually has long-term health effects, and it actually affects our bone health. For women, this is extremely important because women are at higher risk post the age of 40 that we develop osteoporosis, which is a condition of our bones that start getting weaker and weaker. And we tend to have weaker bones, and we can have bones that are depleted of calcium, and they can break a lot easier. They cannot carry our muscles anymore, and this can lead to brittle bones, and it also can lead to a lot of issues in terms of mobility and carrying your own body in older age. And this can happen also due to lowered estrogen. But also estrogen has protective effect on blood vessel and our cholesterol levels. So when we have it at the right level, it's protecting our health. So you can imagine in menopause, when estrogen level drops, our bone health suffers and our heart health suffers as well. And I have just read an article online today, in fact, that in the UK, women have received significantly worse care after a heart attack than men have. And this is absolutely shocking. There's still these differences in medical system and how women are being treated versus how men are being treated, especially when it comes to heart attacks. People are actually not familiar with female symptoms as much as they are with men because they're just not expecting it. And then we have something that is called HPA. You might heard that before if you are in health and well-being spaces, but HPA is hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So it's not like a gut-brain axis. You know, we've got an axis that connects our brain to our gut. Gut is our second brain. But we've got the brain, which is hypothalamus. A part of the brain is hypothalamus, then pituitary gland, and the adrenal gland, so our adrenals as well. And it's that axis that when the estrogen drops is not being regulated as it should be, and it's actually then causing cortisol hormone to spike. Now, we have probably heard about cortisol before. It is the well-known stress hormone that gets a lot of bad rep. When we are stressed, it's the one that causes a lot of mayhem in our body. And when this HPA axis becomes overactive due to downregulated estrogen, your body becomes more sensitive to stress. And then we're in this negative loop, right? More stress, lower hormones, more imbalanced hormones, more problems, more imbalanced hormones, and so on and so on and so on. So it just goes in a negative feedback loop, and we need to break that cycle. And we can, which is great, great news. So how is this hormonal dance happening? What is it actually happening inside of our body when we do have this hormonal dance? Well, the third of the hormones that we do need to mention, and yes, it's also present in women, it's testosterone. Woohoo! Testosterone is amazing. It's the silent strength. It's the booster. It's like the one that comes up in the period cycle when we feel invincible. I say that I hope out when my testosterone is on the high. And you can see this in yourself when you have a little bit boosted libido. You know, that's when you're kind of in the mood. That's when you look at your partner, like, oh, actually, you're quite all right, you know? It's like you're really in it. Your muscle mass is at a great point for building at that time. You've got energy, you've got this mental focus. And we all know how it is when we don't have this focus, when we have brain fog, it just feels, ugh. But testosterone helps us have this mental focus and clarity. It's quite a lot of times overlooked, but is extremely important during menopause as well. So the key to testosterone is estrogen. So if we want our testosterone to function the way that it's supposed to function, then we also need to have estrogen. But because we just learned that estrogen is low and it drops lower during menopause, this affects our testosterone function. And this then prevents us having this boosted libido and muscle mass building and this energy and mental clarity. And this is why all the symptoms that we're experiencing are there. And that obviously stresses us out, right? Because if you're feeling low, you're going to get stressed about it because you need to live your life, you need to do all of these kind of things. And then when you're stressed out, you produce cortisol. And then you produce cortisol, and then on top of everything else, your estrogen is already low, and then cortisol lowers testosterone even more. So again, we're in that negative feedback loop that no one wants to be in, and everything just feels meh, and getting out of the bed in the morning is a struggle, and we don't want that. But what actually is cortisol? I mentioned it quite a few times by now, is the stress amplifier. It's a hormone that is needed. We need it because it is present in a lot of good type of reactions and good type of processes in our body, and we need specific type of stress for our body. It's good for us. But when it stays unchecked, when cortisol is in excess and is not balanced the way it should be balanced, that then impacts our energy level. It impacts our metabolism. Our metabolism actually starts getting affected by that, hence the weight gains during menopause quite a lot of times, and also leads to inflammation. We're going to talk about inflammation in depth a little bit later, but here you can see that this hormonal dance, because it becomes unbalanced due to lowered progesterone and lowered estrogen during perimenopause and menopause, this hormonal dance, if left like that, leads to chronic inflammation inside of our body, which we will later learn leaves us feeling meh as well. So when our cortisol is high, this further disrupts the estrogen and progesterone balance, right?
Hi everyone, it's Jacqui here.
And I believe my phone just died. Can you all hear me?
Yes, got you back.
Yes, we lost you there for a moment.
Yeah, all right. There you are. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Apologies for that. My phone overheated and just switched off. There you go, technology. As long as you can hear me, that is fine. So where I was with the hormonal dance and what... Okay. Apologies. There. And the solution to this hormonal dance and these issues is breaking bad. It's the methods that I have created, and it means balanced, authentic, and deserving. So basically what we need to do is we need to find ways for each individual body to balance our hormones, to sync them out, and to help with this cascade of imbalances. And we can do this through nutrition, through stress management, strength training, and sleep. But before you panic, because I mentioned strength training and I mentioned nutrition, there are quite a lot of very simple steps that we can take forward without needing to go to the gym and lifting heavy loads. So let's talk a little bit about menopause and inflammation. One of the ways that inflammation is kept in check during menopause is actually through estrogen. Estrogen is anti-inflammatory. It's amazing. We just love our estrogen hormone. And this is why we feel so good when we're young, right? Like so full of energy and everything. And it helps us regulate also our immune system and also some molecules that are called cytokines, which are molecules of our immune system. So it blocks the pro-inflammatory cytokines, meaning that the molecules that would cause our inflammation are being blocked by our estrogen. However, As we remember, during menopause, estrogen levels drop. So because the estrogen levels drop, there's not enough for them to block all the inflammation. Therefore, inflammation in our body increases. Okay. Now that could be one of the contributing factors as well for us to start gaining weight. Quite a lot of women start gaining weight in perimenopause and menopause, and definitely around abdomen. This can be due to increased inflammation, can be because of imbalanced hormones, but in the end of the day, having that increased fat around your belly actually produces more inflammation, because our fat is a tissue. Like we have muscles, but like we have some other organs, the fat itself actually creates its own pathways and it creates inflammation. So not only we have inflammation due to reduced and imbalanced hormones, but we now also have inflammation because we have gained weight by no fault of our own. Please do not feel like this is saying that the responsibility is on you. You know, life happens and it's very difficult to manage everything. But we do gain weight, and I am one of those people that has gained weight due to hormonal imbalances. So I understand how difficult it is. And then we have this fat tissue around our abdomen, and this also starts causing this low-level chronic inflammation, which I'll go into detail later on to explain what it means. On top of all of that, because it's not enough, we are really, I feel for us women, we are amazing creatures. Despite all of these things, we still keep going. And on top of all of this, our stress levels go up because we do feel a bit more imbalanced. We feel more tired. Our libido is low, and the stress levels start going high, which triggers higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormones, which again leads to inflammation, makes our menopausal symptoms worse, such as joint pain and mood swings and fatigue. And no one likes this. So there are natural ways to help yourself. We don't need to only go for medication. Plus, the medication works for some women and not for all of the women. And it's an optimization journey. It is not here you go and this works for you. It is finding the right one for you. The same goes for lifestyle. And you can think of the lifestyle as a bubble around your medication. So if you are on HRT, great. If it's helping, fantastic. When you add to this the lifestyle medicine factors that I'm just going to talk about, you will help your body to have better response to the medication as well. So it's not like we're talking against it. We want this alongside it because it will help how the medication works and how the medication supports your body. So lifestyle medicine, what is it? I'm a registered member of British Lifestyle Medicine Association. In the US, this is called functional medicine. And we look at lifestyle and how this affects your health and how can this lead to disease if you don't have it optimized. So the factors that can contribute to menopause and to help it really make it a bit easier process for everyone is the diet, nutrition. And here I would firmly recommend anti-inflammatory diets, and then looking into regular exercise and into stress management. Now, what does anti-inflammatory diet mean? Monika, you're talking all this science stuff, but you don't actually tell me what it means. Well, it is simple. Anti-inflammatory diet is the style of eating that is going to help reduce inflammation in your body. And that contains healthy fats, it contains a lot of fiber, it contains lean proteins, and it contains targeted supplementation. So supplements are vital, but you need to be sure they have a good quality supplement in there. Regular exercise, we all know regular exercise is important, but a lot of people get overwhelmed. They say, I don't have time to go to the gym, I don't have time to do this or that. Don't worry, you can simply start with body weight exercises, some air squats, some push-ups against the wall, or just simply sitting on the chair and getting up and sitting back on the chair and getting up until you build the strength. So that is the examples of body weight at home, or you can start with long walks. And whenever I talk about long walks, I always get in my head, if you like pina coladas, I don't know why, it just gets into my head. And long walks on the beach. I am here in Northeast Scotland. We got lovely beaches. However, they're very, very cold right now. But long walks on the beach are definitely your go-to, especially with the sea air of the sea water is full of salts and very good for your respiratory system as well. And then, of course, manage your stress. I know it's easier said than done. I know. I'm guilty as much as you're probably, but try to take some time away from everything that you're doing, from your cats and dogs, from your children, maybe husbands, who knows. But just take some time for you, because you are the most important person in your life. And just imagine how much better they will feel when you're less grumpy. At least I know my family does. Now, of course, stress is managed also with good sleep. So good sleep hygiene is important. And if you do struggle with any of these aspects of lifestyle medicine, please come speak to me, because I can happily help you with that. Now, I did talk a little bit about anti-inflammatory nutrition. There is so much to say about it that I'm not going to have enough time, but I will touch on fiber, which is your best friend. Fiber is that thing that we cannot digest, but the bugs inside of our digestive system can. And this feeds them. This feeds our bugs, and our bugs become so happy having all of this goodness inside of them that they go like, oh, yeah, they eat all of that. And this bacterial poop, I call it, the bacterial poop that they produce is what we call short chain fatty acids. And these ones go around our body, making us feel fantastic and promoting our brain health, our body health, and so on, and reducing inflammation. So fiber are your best friend. Alongside fiber, what you do want to have is also healthy fat. Now, we have a lot of different fats, and I know when I was growing up in 80s and 90s, there was a lot of fad around low fat diets, right? Everyone was like, oh yeah, everyone needs to be low fat. No, absolutely not.
And hashtags to match.
Just got to
I want to actually name in the testimony.
Okay, sorry, I muted everyone. Okay, good. So it was fat with low fat diet, and fat was guilty of everything. However, what scientists back then didn't know, and what people didn't know, is that fat is essential for our hormones and for everything that our hormones actually need to be produced and to be properly regulated. So here are some examples of these healthy fats, and they can show you, where you can find them. And yes, dark chocolate is not a mistake. You can definitely enjoy dark chocolate as well. Okay, so I'm going to conclude with this slide where I'm going to speak about chronic conditions, because quite a lot of times, the older we get towards our 40s and 50, and in our perimenopause and menopause, we start developing these chronic conditions. And it's quite interesting. And a lot of times people go like, but I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed the way I eat. I haven't changed my lifestyle. Why suddenly am I having these conditions? Well, actually, it's not your fault, because the drop in our hormones, the drop in our estrogen has actually been linked to increased risk of Alzheimer's. So the start of perimenopause and menopause can lead to cognitive decline and dementia. And it can lead to type 2 diabetes, because these hormonal changes also change the way our body processes the sugars and fats. So it's not just about calories in, calories out, how most personal trainers teach us. It goes way beyond that, because our microbiome will develop. And then we have also joint pain and arthritis. And with the joint pain and arthritis, this is due to declining estrogen again. So as you can see, it's a repeating factor, and it can increase the possibility of us developing this osteoarthritis and worsening our joint conditions as we age. And last but not least, there's a lot more. We have autoimmune diseases, which menopause often coincides with. And because we have this increased inflammation that I touched on quite a few times, this can make autoimmune conditions worse. And we can develop lupus, or we can develop conditions like rheumatoid arthritis. And this is menopause, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, with all of this, what we know, there is no wonder that nearly 60% of the UK population have chronic condition, or even more than one. So a lot of times they have more than two. And these conditions are responsible for more deaths nowadays. So simply put, in this world in 2024, we are not dying because of infections of viruses and bacteria anymore. We're dying because of heart attacks, diabetes, and conditions that are actually almost entirely preventable. And this is sourced by the NHS, which is National Health System in the UK, and by World Health Organization. And I think this is a beautiful part where I can introduce one of the solutions that might help alongside with nutrition, alongside with the factors of lifestyle medicine. If you remember, I did mention targeted supplementation. And this is where all the beauty begins. So at the moment, if we're thinking menopause and we look at around the world and you look at your friends and family, this is what you see. This is the reality. We see aging population that is unable to care for themselves. We see people, even young people, with lots of pain and aches. We see the prevalence of depression. We see obesity metabolic syndrome, which is not the fault of the person and is not the direct response to people just overeating. There is inflammation at play and more conditions. The saddest part of all of this, for me, it's part here where all of this translates to our children. And when we had sad people and hurt people, those people hurt other people. And this leads to this negative loop, and the world will just collapse. And I don't like the idea. I definitely don't like the idea. Call me crazy, call me an idealist, but I want to create a utopia and want to create a world where we actually are not filling up hospitals anymore. I have a mission that our doctors are not the first line of defense, but they're our partners. They're our partners in prevention, not just curing, but prevention, so that we can overcome this epidemic of chronic conditions. And we can't do this naturally. Remember old philosophers? They do say, let food be thy medicine. We forgot this somewhere along the way. So in this reality, we don't die of chronic conditions anymore, or we have very little of them. And the knowledge is our key power to our self-care and management of our health by ourselves. So what we want is this. We want a future with healthy aging, where we feel fantastic and capable and energized, where our libido is high, but our mental focus is sharp as well. And once we are healed, once our population is healed, this healing gets translated onto our children, and a healed parent can heal the children, and a healed community can heal other communities. And this is what we want to strive for. So how do we do this? Well, there's a lot of ways, but the way that I and Jacqui and Roberta want to go with, and the way that we focus on, is by introducing amazing systems and products to fight the inflammation. As you've heard quite a few times, inflammation is there because of imbalanced hormones, because of other factors, and is just annoying. Now, for those of you who don't know what inflammation is and you've never heard about inflammation, there's two types, and it's a good thing that we have it. The one that we absolutely need is called acute inflammation, and that happens whenever you have an injury. So you cut your finger bleeds, and then your finger starts healing. But you notice that around the cut, it's red and it's painful. That is inflammation, that pain around it and that redness. That is inflammation because your body is sending all the immune system cells towards this cut in order to heal it. So it's causing inflammation at this spot in order to promote healing. It's normal, we need that, but it's only short. And it happens for a very short time, and then we're healed and we move on. The problem becomes when we have little cut and a little cut and a little cut and a little cut. And we've all probably heard about the expression death by 1,000 cuts, right? So it is constantly there. This process of inflammation is constantly there. It's persistent, it's non-stop present, and it can be anywhere in the body. We don't really choose where it presents, and this is chosen by our genetics and lifestyle and our habits. But it does lead to damage to our tissues. It can damage our gut, it damages our kidneys, liver, and so on and so on. And this can then lead to various health conditions. Cancer is a big one. No one likes to talk about it, but there is an actual statistic that says 97% of cancers are related to chronic inflammation and lifestyle factors, which is absolutely shocking. And all of these here on the screen. So you don't know that you have chronic inflammation. You don't wake up and you say, oh, I feel like I have inflammation in my body. We don't know that because we're not educated on that topic. But what we do know is we wake up and we are tired. And we wake up and we have brain fog and we can't focus on our work. We have body discomfort. We can't sleep. We go to sleep. We can't stay asleep. All these ways are telling us that we are actually in a state of inflammation. It's quite prevalent. I'm going to leave this here for you to read out, but I've mostly mentioned this already. The quality of life is definitely degrading. However, the biggest factor is the financial burden. And I'm not just talking about financial burden to our health systems. No. That's the easy part. Is the financial burden to you. Because imagine how much more would you be able to do, and your potential could be increased if you felt at your best, if you felt like you did when you were 15 or 20. So unfortunately, there's two options. Either we are in the state of inflammation and degeneration, which is making us feel good, or we are in the state of healing and regeneration, which makes us feel amazing because we start feeling like our old selves. So what is it that we're actually wanting to do, and what is a solution? There could be many solutions. People have tried a lot of things, but one of them that we really like, and I just get so excited about it, is completely natural, and it actually comes from turmeric. And turmeric is this fantastic root that gives us so much goodness. And what's best about this is there's so much science behind turmeric and curcumin that it has been shown. I've actually taken this out of the Journal of Pharmacology and Translational Science. This has been published here. It's been shown that curcumin is an active component of turmeric. So turmeric is a root, and curcumin is inside of turmeric. That curcumin and turmeric have been shown to help with metabolic diseases. They help with diabetes and obesity and cardiovascular disease and non-alcoholic fatty livers. They help with brain conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson, depression. They help with cancer, help with cardiovascular conditions, skin. Oh my goodness, so many skin conditions like psoriasis and dermatitis. And also, as we keep saying, inflammation, chronic kidney disease, chronic pulmonary condition, gingivitis, and more and more. So, nature is our medicine and we want to use it. The turmeric, as I said, is out there. We all know it. People are asking, why are we not using it? Well, because us in the Western society, we forgot, right? We forgot a little bit. This guy one day discovered penicillin, and ever since he discovered penicillin, the entire world went crazy. Said, yes, we need antibiotics. We need to kill everything around us. And we forgot about nature. We forgot about nature's own antimicrobial components and how they work and how they can help us. So Ayurveda has actually contained this knowledge for thousands of years. It's over 4,000 years old. And in Ayurvedic medicine, turmeric has been used over and over again. As we said, it's got amazing properties and it helps with joint health, our brain function, helps with our mood and digestion, heart health, boosts immune function, and more and more and more. The research is unparalleled. We just have so much that we can go on curcumin. And all of these studies that I am popping here on the screen are published peer-reviewed studies on curcumin. However, there's a challenge with it. This amazing plant and this amazing medicine for us is not very well soluble. It repels water. It's called lipophilic. So it's like, oil on top of water. It doesn't really like to mix well. And because it doesn't really like to mix well with water, what is the consistency of our blood? What is inside of our body? We are 70% water, right? So when we try to ingest turmeric, well, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to mix it with our blood, to mix it with our juices and all that kind of stuff, because it just repels it. It's lipophilic, and we will have poor access to the curcumin inside of turmeric. And even if we wanted to, there's only about a tiny bit of curcumin inside of it. But we managed to find a solution, and I'm extremely, extremely excited to tell you more about it, because right now we are at the stage where we can offer a solution for delivering this amazing component to our body. And I'm going to hand it to Roberta, my dear friend. And Roberta has been an entrepreneur for 35 years. And she's enjoyed a number of very interesting professions. She was professional garden designer, so she also knows a lot about plants and amazing stuff about plants. She's a leader in women's apparel business. Well, she was. Functional nutrition as well, and wellness technologies. She's a passionate advocate for aging backwards to 100, which is what I absolutely love. And her intentions to inspire others to live younger, longer, and to teach her grandchildren appreciation of the wonders of nature keeps her spirit in love, life, and longevity. So I'm just absolutely thrilled to introduce Roberta, and I'm going to pass it on to her. Take it away.
Thank you, Monika. Oh my goodness, an amazing presentation, and so much knowledge there in relation to what I believe is very misunderstood, and that is the subject of menopause. And I think a lot of women think it's just par for the course, but there's just so much that we can do to support that time of our lives. And it is a part of my life that's well behind me as someone who turns 60 years of age in a couple of weeks' time. And I do believe that we can age backwards to 100. And I have learned so much in this space that chronic conditions, chronic inflammation is a killer, and it needn't be that in the lives of so many countries around the world. So thank you, Monika. I'm going to take the reins to here and share with you a little bit about bio-MS technology. We believe that this will really support women and even young girls with all of those things that go on in women's lives from their first period through to post-menopausal, that whole segment of life. If we can reduce the inflammation in women's bodies, then it's going to be a good thing. But there is a technology out there today called nanotechnology, and it is sometimes misunderstood, but it seriously is a simple process of reducing something down to an incredibly small size, from 1 to 100 nanometers in size. That is what nanotechnology is, the study and creation of incredibly small sized materials. And in order to get something into our bodies at a cellular level, it needs to be less than 100 nanometers. And interestingly, a hair follicle on our heads is either 50,000 to 100,000 nanometers thick. So thank you, Monika. We've got something here that is incredibly. Can you move that slide forward, Monika, for me? You've got the reins there, hun. So we've got an amazing technology that is essentially, in layman's terms, a delivery system. As Monika said, curcumin, so powerful as an antioxidant, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. We need that in our bodies today, and it's so difficult to get it into our bodies because of that absorption issue, that bioavailability issue. We need a delivery system to get it into us, and this is it here. This is a groundbreaking world first, and no one else has done it to the same degree that we did 8 years ago, and we are absolutely creating and disrupting the wellness world in relation to overcoming the biggest obstacle, and that is to get something lipophilic or a fatty lipid molecule into the human body, the likes of which we've never seen before. And the responses are incredible. So one dose, which is 10 drops, is still evident in the bloodstream 24 hours later. And the normal curcumin product that you're taking today, potentially that looks like this, the tablets, that's pretty well gone in your body a couple of hours later with very minimal, like 1 to 10% absorption. So this is a really big game changer, everyone. And the curcumin particulate's in the middle, and it's wrapped around with the delivery system known as a micelle nanocarrier. And essentially what we've done is something incredible, where we have biomimicked what the body naturally does to get things into the bloodstream. But what we've done here is just fast-paced and fast-tracked that, where the body just says thank you, takes it in and sends it to where your body is on fire. Thanks, Monika. We're very, very proud and excited to be sharing this with you. And here's an example of how that looks. I'm hoping that's working for you. It's a very, very slow example from my end here. But essentially on the left, what we've got is what most people around the world are taking today, a tablet like this, and it's crushed up. It's not absorbing into the water. But on the right-hand side, that is our product without any, any problems, any inhibitions. That product is just mixing in the water, no barriers. And these are our products. We've got an amazing product known as BioMS Nano Curcumin, Nanophi Curcumin, and Curcumin Plus. We're just going to refer to them as the golden drops. They're often referred to as that, and it just sounds a little more, enticing. But the golden drops are literally golden, and they are like the next gold rush in the wellness world. They're so easy to take, and they're so incredibly powerful to, as listed there, to help reduce the oxidative load in your body, your inflammation, therefore, healthy intestinal function, helps to rejuvenate cells. They really are amazing. And because this product actually penetrates through the blood-brain barrier, delivering curcumin to your brain, what this is doing for your cognitive function, the brain fog that so many people are struggling with today, and the numerous other many neurodegenerative things that we are also seeing more and more of today. This is just next level, a support for the human body. And we also have a great product called Synbiofy. We're a very big, grand company ready to go to the next level, but with just 3 products. We keep it really simple. The 2 powerful golden drops. One's an advanced formula with added vitamin C and ginger, and the other one is just plain curcumin with vitamin D3 in it. And this one is as a gut product. We well know the importance of the gut. Monika mentioned, it's like our second brain, and this is going to support you naturally with a beautiful synergistic blend of pro and prebiotics and herbs and magnesium as well. Give it a go. It is just wonderful, very gentle, very powerful. So the preferred method of making the golden drops get straight into you is to just pop them under your tongue, roll them around, your mouth will go bright yellow. It'll really aid your gum and oral care and get absorbed into your body within 5 minutes. This is what this technology does. It actually sort of avoids going through the normal way of digestion down your esophagus into your stomach and that sort of whole process. It literally gets absorbed straight into your bloodstream. So if you just put it straight under your tongue, that's a great way. In a little glass of warm water, but you can add it to juices to get it into your children, because it's great for children and the whole family, in fact. Thanks, Monika. But we do encourage you to take this for a minimum of 3 months, because this is a technology, very powerful, from God's pharmacy, as I say. And, you know, please give it the respect that it deserves. If you are in lots and lots of multi-morbidity in your wellness at this stage, you know, that's taken a long time to get to that point in your life. So please give this at least 3 months consistently. And, you know, we're pretty confident, very confident, that you will begin to feel the differences, sometimes soon, and sometimes it takes a little longer. But we see incredible outcomes when people are consistent. We do have the many patents, alliances and certifications that a professional company will have, and also we're in organic certification. Thanks, Monika. The slow transition, isn't it? So these are some proven results that we are proud of. We would ask that you go into our 2 wellness groups. We've got amazing testimonials from everyday people from around the world that will show you what this product is doing for people with all kinds of inflammatory conditions. And of course, our main subject today is menopause, but everything that has pretty well anything that someone is going to see the doctor about or walk through the sliding doors of a hospital about are going to have a root cause of chronic conditions. And the first thing to do is to bring those chronic conditions down. And here we have something very, very timely and natural for you to consider. Thanks, Monika. So in summary, what we have here is a dynamic product that, with the cohesion of nature and technology, we have brought to you now something that is 95% guaranteed absorbable. So it's not a waste of money like other products. It gets into you. Very high bioavailability. It is 277 times up to for women, and its bioavailability in 114 times for men. And 1 dose is still prevalent in the body 24 hours later, which is why we see these grand and amazing responses. And 10 drops is the equivalent of lots and lots of turmeric tablets and, you know, and fresh turmeric. It really is. It's just so simple to take this. So who do we share this with? Who is this product for? Just cut to the bottom. Everyone, everyone. And I just love it. As a baby boomer, that's my husband and I there pictured. We are aging backwards to 100. Our passion is to help the aged to really quash that whole westernized expectation of growing old, which is that by the time you get to my age of 60, that you are broken and with a mind that's mushy, with a back that's arched, with knee replacements, and you're full of arthritis and whatever else you may have. And I don't agree with that at all. And I believe that when inflammation can be reduced, then your whole world of wellness can really, really open up. Thank you, Monika.